Winning proper jobs is everything for your business. And the simple reason for that is because once you start winning the right work, all the best blokes want to work for you. You can take the best photos, you can share online. People say, what a nice job. People talk about your jobs. Yeah, it's the start. One project can really make you as a business, as long as you can deliver on it. But how do you win them? If you're someone that's stuck in the bottom, you're stuck in a rat race, you can't win the right work, chances are, and I see this from people that I'm now working with, they're not doing anything to exist. You know, they're good people, they're hungry, you know, they're trying to do everything they can, they're running around like headless chickens, but they're doing all this without anyone seeing it. You know, and there's so many tools out there that people can use to market their businesses that are free. You know, you've got LinkedIn, Instagram. For me, Instagram's a portfolio. You know, until we started doing YouTube, until we started pushing things out on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and you know, on TikTok we get millions of views a month. On Instagram it's the same. You know, YouTube's a couple of 100,000 a month. And obviously off the back of that now we win work off of social media. But you want to be where the decision makers are. You want to almost work backwards and say, right, where are the people where are they networking? Where are they online? Where are they on their phones day to day? LinkedIn. LinkedIn is probably the busiest and most shareable platform ever. And if you can create a framework to regularly be under the eyes of people on LinkedIn, you are right under the eyes of decision makers. And it is free. It is a tool that is there and accessible to anyone. But you can't go there, right? It's like when you go to an event, you need to dress correctly for the event, yeah? So you need to create your business. It needs to look like a brand that is reliable, yeah, that does what it says it does. And it needs to have something in it that says, oh, I like them. You know, their lorries are tidy, or their men look good, or, you know, they look like they're organised. You can't turn up to a black tie event in a tracksuit, right? But if you turn up to a black tie event in a tuxedo, you're going to meet the right people. Do you know what I mean? It's the same sort of thing in business. Like, it's not complicated. I think people overlook so many things in business when really you have to set a solid foundation. And once you've set that foundation and you've got everything in place within that, and you're then looking at your marketing and all the processes and everything that you do, people are going to start taking you seriously. You know, you have to create a brand. Yeah, you have to be forward thinking. And the crazy thing is, there's web developers out there, there's people out there that can build sites for you, there's people out there that can show you how to do these things, you know? And like one of the things I'm doing, mentoring with people, is getting them on LinkedIn consistently, you know, getting them in front of the right people. You know, I've got one lad who wants to be on YouTube and he's just started a channel, and, you know, it's brilliant. And being online, being on social media is brilliant. But in order to win big projects, you have to be seen, you have to be visible, you know? So many people out there are frustrated. Oh, I'm not winning this job, I'm not winning that job, or I'm not getting any phone calls. No, but you're not doing anything to be seen, you know? Like, so many people aren't marketing. And I think one of the biggest things for us, that before social media, before everything, before all of this, one of the things we did is we took on a marketing guy who's very, very good, who rebranded the whole website. He put SEO in place for us, which is search engine optimization. So if someone searches for your company and they type in a keyword like scaffolding erection in Reading, you know, they've got the framework, they've put that in place, and now you pop up. Yeah, so SEO is massive, because as soon as someone needs a scaffold, the first thing they do, if they don't know a scaffolder, it's a domestic job, this could be a big house in Wentworth or wherever, they go online, you know, and then once they go online, if your website looks good and you're like a reputable company that can complete nice work, then you get a foot in the door. Then, if it's a big job and you actually look like a company and you can go in and back it up, you've then got a repeat client. Yeah, that's sustainability. And that's how you then start to win more and more big projects. You know, and like for us, we started spending money on Google. We had the website redone, we had it all rebranded, had the SEO done. But then the cheat code for us was spending on Google Ads. And that for us was a massive game changer. One of our biggest projects, it was a project in Hayes. It's on our Instagram. For those of you who look at our stuff from Stellar Scaffolding, it's actually a pinned project even until now. And that literally came through last minute on a Friday. And I almost thought they were joking when they sent through the drawings. And at the time, the job was too big for us. But like you do, and like you have to in business, when an opportunity's there, if you can make it work, you take it on, you know? And it's all about return on investment. And do you know why I say return on investment? Is because that job was too big for us, yeah? I had to buy material. And at the time, all I'm thinking about is the spend, the outlay. Like we do, it's human nature. But the work we've got off the back of that project, it's ridiculous, you know? And it's the same with anything. Like, it's so easy to look at the price of something initially or think, oh, it's going to cost me that much, it's going to cost me this much. But you've always got to look at return on investment. Like, what will that investment do for you? You know? And that's where, for us, that project, the Hayes project, was one that, it was massive for us. And even if you go back before that, we had a project on the Fulham Road. And to be honest, that one there, another way to win work. That one there literally came from the first client that we ever had that we started with. There was a bricklayer on his job, an Irish boy. And I asked him, have you got any more projects? Like, was there anything else you can get us on? He was a busy bricklayer. He was active. He was like an older Irish version of me. And yeah, he was busy. He was active. So I knew he was someone to connect with. I knew that if I had a chat with him, I knew there'd be something there. And right, I was. And he got us into a project called Munster House on the Fulham Road, which was absolutely monstrous. And on this channel, listen, this is just me talking. These aren't going to be overlay videos and there's not going to be photos and all this. This is just straight me talking, saying way more than I would normally and giving you guys value and just straight information, you know. But yeah, that job there literally came from me networking with a bricklayer on site, being so busy, and it was massive. You know, the work we got off the back of it, we got the Fulham Road project, which was an absolute powerhouse, and if we were doing YouTube and online stuff then, it would have been unbelievable content because it was so technical, it was massive. And again, we were buying material for it as it was going up. And but again, return on investment, you know, that for us has been unbelievable. And I remember buying the beams. So you like in scaffolding, you've got big roof beams. When you're putting a temporary roof up, you've got the big 750 beams. And I was buying them and they were so expensive to buy at the time. And I was thinking, my God, there's so many of them. They've just circulated over and over and over. And it's like all of these things. Once you put the systems in place and once you start to invest in a bit of marketing and you get yourself out there after you've created a product that you can actually maintain. But this is where you have to look at your company, because if you end up taking on large projects too soon, you can end up hammering yourself, you know, you can end up overloading the investment, how much you need to invest, you know, you can end up killing yourself. And that's where companies go pop, is they try and go too quick, they take on too much and they can't control it. So that's why everyone that I'm working with, I say to them, systemize the operation first, yeah? Yes, we want to get to here. I get that. Cool. But we have to systemize first. We make the operation stable. We put the systems in place. And then once we have that in place, we can then go to market. We're ready. Yeah. But we have to make sure we're ready. We have to have the systems there. It's almost like if you look at like a person. Yeah. So if you want to be looking your absolute best, right? You want to train. You want to get healthy. Then you get a nice outfit on. Yeah. It's the same. You put the systems in place. Right? Then you brand it, you market it, yeah? You get it looking how it should. Then after that, you go to market. It's the same with the business. You then get it out there, you know? And if you have this in place, by the time you go to market and you start winning this work, you know, once you start winning the big jobs, things start to snowball, but you have to be able to perform. But listen, the framework for me, yeah, on how you win big jobs, there's two very simple things. One of them is marketing, and the other one is networking. And when you are on a site working, you are being paid to market your business. When you are there with other people in construction, there's other people there that can win you work. You just need to talk to them in a way that it's going to benefit them as well. And that's how the industry moves, you know? That's how things stay oiled and keep moving. You just got to think outside the box. And there's no joy ever. You're never going to get a success from being sat there twiddling your thumbs thinking, well, I've got no work, you know? How to win any work is to pick up the phone. When we've been quiet, I've been picking up the phone. I'll cold call. I've been calling roofers. You know, I'll call local builders, anyone and everyone. You know, and you've just got to be at times busy. If there's no work on, be busy, be proactive, go and get hold of the situation. But listen, the topic of this video is how to win big projects. And the key is to look like you're able to complete them and then get in front of the people that are able to award them. If you do those two things consistently over a large period of time, you're going to have a serious business, as long as you put the systems in place first.